Welcome back for this week's Wealth Wednesday. We are going to be getting a closer look at how to set goals for ourselves and thrive in 2025.
And as always, we're joined now by our friend and wealth advisor, Jarrett Felton, with more this morning. Thank you so much for waking up with us. Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year to you, too. It's a holiday. Today's always a holiday. And every meal's a feast.
We like it.
You got it.
All right, so let's talk about it. 2025, a lot of us we want to set ourselves up for success. 2025, we are a quarter century in to this. Let's make the next 75 years solid.
Right, absolutely. You know, the first thing to do to be thriving in 2025 is to make sure we stop saying it's 2024. And I caught myself saying that a couple different times. So let's just start with that. That's the basics, easy peasy. Let's keep it pushing. Something that I would love to talk about, there's 4 things by the end of this conversation today. There's 4 things you can take away and try and do. It's free and it's easily able to implement. Number 1, I would say let's take a look at the debts that we have maybe accumulated over last year, or maybe even some people over their lives. They tend to snowball, meaning compounding interest, what could be from personal loans, credit cards, student loans, whatever they may be. I would say tackling debt. We have a nice long runway. The beautiful thing is it's early January. So we have a good 11.5 months of a runway to try and put a plan together. And if we're having hard time struggling with regards to how do we pay off debts and which ones do, we could maybe line them all up based on which interest rates are highest and tackle those first. Or we could take a look at the discretionary incomes that we have coming in. And once we do that, we can start making some extra payments on those higher interest rates, credit cards, debts that you may be accumulated. So I think paying debt is the first thing before we start talking about 2, 3, and 4.
When you're tackling that debt, though, there are a couple of different mindsets. Start with the largest debt, or the one with the highest interest rate, or start with the smallest, because then it gives you a little momentum.
Right. So I think this boils down to personality type, and hopefully you know yourself best. But nowadays, a lot of people walking around where other people know you better than you. But, you know, when we take a look at interest rates and debt, you know, there's the one mindset where we take a look at which interest rate is highest, we pay that down first, and then we tackle the next one that has the highest interest rate, and we start tackling it that way. The other way is take a look at which balance is biggest, regardless of interest rate. And sometimes that'll give people a win. If you have maybe a Discover, Bank of America, Citi Bank card that has a $200 credit card balance, and you have another one that has $5,000, you know, maybe tackling that smaller balance first will give you that win, that zhuzh that you need.
Carries you through.
Carries you through, that momentum, you know, the wind in your sails, so you can start tackling all the rest. So it's just really a mindset, but from a financial perspective, we want to make sure that you pay the least amount of interest to their credit card companies or banks as possible.
Sure.
So I tend to lean more towards interest rate first.
Very good. All right, that was step 1. That's the biggest mountain.
Yeah, it really is. Sometimes it's hard to think about saving for retirement if you're so-called drowning in debt.
Sure is.
So we got to tackle the problem at the source.
All right, let's get to step 2.
Yeah, step 2, pay yourself first once we get through that step, or at least we have a plan. So we all, where we work, usually have retirement plans, employer-sponsored plans, 401ks, 403bs. Once again, the beauty of this long runway for 2025 and how to thrive is paying yourself first. For people that are under 50 years old, you can put away $23,500 into your retirement plan through work, hence or if it's a 401k or 403b. So if you are paid bi-weekly, like a lot of places, it's around $904 a paycheck. Some people say, that sounds like a lot, but there are different ways to look at this. It could be on a pre-tax basis, so you don't really feel the impact as much, or if your plan allows for Roth contributions or after-tax contributions, you may feel it more, get taxed now, but in retirement, that money could be tax-free. So when I say pay yourself first, it means just pull the money off the top out of your paycheck before it hits your hot little hands. As you were talking about when you were growing up, your mom gave you the 24 rule before you spend stuff. Guess what? You didn't have to do that if your mom just never either paid you and put it aside or took it off the top and gave you what was left.
There you go.
That's a good point.
Just saying, it is what it is.
I like it. All right, what do we got next?
Sure. So something out there for those investors, for those that have portfolios, whether it be retirement or non-retirement, a little overlooked, I guess an overlooked aspect of a retirement account or a feature is what's called reinvesting your dividends. So if you have a mutual fund or if you have certain stocks that pay dividends, you have an option as a consumer, as an investor, as to where those dividends go when they come to you. You can have them settle inside of the account, and they usually just defer to a cash position, which is not getting any interest usually. Or you can check a box or hit a button and have those dividends reinvested to buy more of the same security or fund or ETF that you had purchased. So what that could do for you, I guess it's all about opportunity cost of what you might lose if you don't. So I'm not saying that everybody needs to do that, because if you owned a business, maybe you don't plow every dollar back into it and reinvest. But from an investment perspective, most people don't pay attention that much every single day micromanaging their investments. So if you set it, forget it, reinvest dividends and turn it off down the road, hey, we got a nice long year where that could really help you out, acquire some more shares, not knowing what's going to happen in the stock market. If we have a pullback, you're reinvesting and buying shares of stock or mutual funds at a lower price. Who doesn't like a good sale?
Everybody.
It's just most people are emotional, will not buy stocks on sale because they get nervous. Right. So reinvesting of dividends takes the emotion and the thought process out of it. I'm not saying it's for everybody, but it is something to consider, and it's often overlooked.
We've got about 30 seconds left, and you still have one more step, yes?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I'll wrap it up in 20 or less. So the last one is your insurances, and that's a very vague topic, but it could be more so relating to your auto insurance, your homeowners insurance, and for those pet lovers out there that have pet insurance. I guess what I'm just trying to get at is there's things called deductibles, right? And with health insurance, there's co-pays. Make sure that you have the right type of insurance and the appropriate amount of deductible. We don't want to have these 4 steps on how to thrive in 2025, and all of a sudden we get to some catastrophic event this year with a car accident, hence all this wonderful weather we got going on in upstate New York, or something happens with your house, the roof caves in, furnace, and now you're back in more debt, and now we have to revert to step 1. So I gave you these steps today in order of priority so that we don't have to worry about something later on down the list affecting the first part of the list. So making sure your deductibles are tight and making sure that you have enough money set aside to accommodate. That's it.
Good
Was
stuff.
that 20 seconds? I don't know. I wasn't timing myself.
No, I think it was a little bit more, but that's okay. That's okay. For somebody sitting at home, where can they go to learn more, or if they want to sit down with you personally, where do they go?
Yeah, absolutely. Investment is the name of my firm, investment.com, and that's the website down below. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that.
Look at that.
So if you all have any questions, you can just reach out to us. We're always here to serve the community.